Under the crushing dark, the ocean whispers nothing back. 800 feet below, sunlight dies before it can reach. The walls of steel breathe. The air tastes of metal and silence. Every heartbeat is a sound too loud to trust. No wind, no sky, only the endless hum of machines. 100 souls, sealed inside a tube smaller than a school bus. No windows, no escape, only duty and each other. They keep a secret so old, even the waves won't tell. A ritual whispered only beneath the pressure of the deep. What do they hide in that silence? What truth lies buried where no light can go? This is Submarine Shadow, where light never reaches, but stories still surface. Below the surface, the ocean swallows everything: light, sound, even the concept of time. In that darkness, 100 lives breathe together inside a machine of steel and will. The submarine is not just a vessel, it's a world without sunlight, a city that never sleeps. Only the top 10% of Navy candidates ever earn a place here. The rest are left behind before they ever feel the ocean's weight. Those who remain are not ordinary sailors. They are the elite, the ones who can function flawlessly when every second counts. They learn to operate in silence, where one mistake could mean 100 funerals. The air is heavy, dry, metallic. It smells of oil, sweat, and recycled breath. You can taste the machinery in every inhale. The walls vibrate faintly, humming like a living thing. Somewhere deep in the hull, turbines turn endlessly, the sound blending with the heartbeat of men who've forgotten what fresh air feels like. The temperature is always controlled but never comfortable. Too cold when you're tired, too warm when you're awake. The light is dim and yellow, casting long shadows that never move. The corridors are barely wide enough for 2 people to pass. Pipes twist overhead like veins. Every inch of this place has a purpose. No decoration, no comfort, no wasted space. There's no softness, only steel, rubber, and the echo of boots on metal grating. You learn to move carefully, shoulders turned, head down. A careless step can bruise, a loud one can break the calm. Every sailor knows their station by heart. They could walk these narrow halls blindfolded, guided only by the hum of systems and the faint scent of hydraulic oil. Every valve, every switch, every sound has meaning. When the air pressure shifts, they feel it. When a pump clicks differently, they know. Because in this world, familiarity is survival. There's no sunrise here, no morning, no night. The crew lives by the rhythm of the 18-hour cycle. 6 hours on watch, 6 hours of duty, 6 hours to rest. Then it begins again. No weekend, no weekend, no change in scenery. Only the slow crawl of time marked by meals and shifts. They eat, sleep, and work beneath layers of water thick enough to crush steel. Personal space doesn't exist. A bunk barely wider than a coffin, a locker smaller than a suitcase. That's home. Each sailor has their own small rituals to stay sane. A photo taped to the wall, a folded letter, a tiny flashlight clipped near the bed. Someone keeps a small cross above their rack. Another hides a comic under his pillow. These fragments of the surface world are the only proof that life above still exists. And yet, despite the confinement, they find a strange peace. They know each other's footsteps, breathing patterns, and voices. They share jokes, whispered at 3 a.m., stories told over instant coffee, and silent glances that say more than words. They are family, not by blood, but by necessity. When you're sealed inside a pressure tube 1,000 feet down, trust is more than loyalty. It's oxygen. Every routine is sacred. When the galley opens, the smell of coffee spreads through the narrow halls, rich, bitter, familiar. When the reactor hum changes pitch, everyone looks up. When a valve hisses unexpectedly, hearts stop for a moment. Even sleep feels mechanical. 6 hours of uneasy rest beneath pipes and bulkheads that groan like distant thunder. They adapt to the claustrophobia. Some count the seconds between sonar pings. Others stare at the same rust spot on the wall every night, imagining it's the sun. There's no horizon here, no window, no color but gray. Yet they endure. Because each one knows the safety of their nation depends on their silence. Still, beneath the calm routine, the ocean waits. One wrong sound, one flicker of light, one drop of water where it shouldn't be, and the sea will remind them how fragile steel really is. Because in the deep, silence is never peace. It's the warning before something breaks. Down here, silence isn't peace, it's pressure. It crawls into your bones, your breath, your thoughts. The deeper the dive, the louder it gets. The ocean doesn't roar, it listens. Every noise you make, it hears. Every heartbeat, every drop of sweat feels like it could echo for miles. Sleep comes in fragments, 6 hours if you're lucky, 4 if you're not. The bed, a steel rack 6 feet long, 2 feet wide, barely fits a grown man. The ceiling above is close enough to touch without lifting your arm. You turn your head too fast, you hit the metal. You stretch your legs, you hit the wall. There's no space to dream, only to rest, just enough to keep going. And the worst part? It's not even your bed. Hot racking. 3 sailors, 1 bunk, same mattress, same blanket, same pillow. When one man wakes, another slides in before the warmth disappears. No fresh sheets, no personal space, just the smell of detergent, sweat, and recycled air. Imagine lying down in a space still warm from someone else's body, trying to sleep while the engines vibrate beneath you and the hull creaks like an old ship under strain. The schedule doesn't forgive anyone. The submarine runs on an 18-hour cycle. 6 hours on duty, 6 hours of maintenance, 6 hours of rest. Repeat. Forever. No weekends. No sunrise to remind you that another day has begun. The lights are always artificial, the same dull glow. The clock becomes meaningless. Some sailors mark their days with coffee cups or meals, breakfast at midnight, dinner before dawn. You lose track of reality because the sea doesn't care about your sense of time. The lack of sunlight does more than confuse you. It changes you. Skin turns pale, vitamin D levels crash, and moods darken. The human body was never meant to live without daylight. Some sailors use UV lamps for 10 minutes a day, a poor imitation of sunlight, just to trick their brains into feeling alive. Others hang photos of beaches or open skies near their bunks, reminders of a color they can't see anymore. Then there's water, the most precious thing on the boat. Every drop counts. 2 minutes. That's all you get for a shower. The submarine shower isn't relaxation. It's math. Turn the water on, get wet, turn it off. Lather. Count to 30. Turn it on again. Rinse. Miss your timing and you'll hear about it from the chief. Waste water and you're stealing from your crew. Freshwater tanks can only produce a few hundred gallons per day through desalination. That has to cover drinking, cooking, and hygiene for everyone. There's no long, hot shower here, no fogged mirrors, no steam, just cold discipline. One sailor admitted he timed his showers with the song House of the Rising Sun, but he only made it to the first verse. Another joked that shampoo was a luxury because rinsing it out took half your ration. Jokes down here are survival. The air? It's recycled thousands of times through CO2 scrubbers. The oxygen generator runs constantly, splitting seawater into breathable air. But it has a smell, faintly metallic, mixed with oil and human scent. You learn to recognize the submarine smell instantly. Steel, grease, and people. Even after sailors return to shore, they say it stays in their nose for days. Hygiene becomes a mission. One careless sailor skipping a shower can make the entire space unbearable. Laundry is done sparingly, maybe once every 2 weeks, in washing machines the size of a small cabinet. The clothes dry on lines strung through engine rooms, next to pipes that hum with heat. The air is so dense you can almost taste the metal. Every sound matters. The clang of a dropped wrench, the click of a valve, the slam of a hatch, all can give away their position to the enemy or disrupt sleep for half the crew. Silence here isn't comfort, it's protocol. When you work sonar, your ears become your weapon. The faintest sound, a whale, a propeller, a rock shifting miles away, could mean the difference between life and death. And when the machinery falters, fear fills the space faster than water. One sailor on the USS Pittsburgh remembered when the air conditioning failed during a classified mission. Temperatures climbed past 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius. Sweat dripped from the ceiling. They worked shirtless, rotating in 15-minute shifts to avoid heat exhaustion. No one complained. They couldn't. Complaints waste oxygen. Claustrophobia creeps in slowly. You know there's no escape, no door to open, no window to look through. Just steel and darkness pressing from all sides. Some sailors count the bolts on the ceiling to stay calm. Others memorize the rhythm of sonar pings to remind themselves they're still moving. One described it as living inside a heartbeat that never stops. And yet, they endure, because endurance is the only thing that keeps the sea out. Down here, silence is not peace, it's survival. Every minute you stay calm is a victory against the ocean itself. Every breath, every drop of water, every heartbeat, all borrowed from a world that wants them back. But when something shifts, a vibration that shouldn't be there, a flicker of light, a sound in the hull, every muscle tenses. The sea is never far. It's waiting, pressing, listening. One wrong move, one missed signal, one leak, and the silence becomes something else entirely. No alarms yet, no explosions, just that unbearable stillness, the kind that makes you wonder if the ocean is holding its breath too. Because the deeper you go, the quieter everything becomes, until the silence starts to think. Could you handle a world with no sun, no fresh air, and no way out? In the heart of the submarine, where space is measured in inches and silence is sacred, there is one place that still feels human: the mess deck. It's more than a dining area, it's the soul of the boat, the only spot where the crew can sit shoulder to shoulder and remember who they are. The air smells faintly of coffee and machine oil, but here, for a few brief moments, the noise of duty fades into laughter, stories, and the sound of metal forks tapping metal trays. The cooks, known as culinary specialists, are unsung artists of the deep. They perform miracles inside a kitchen smaller than most food trucks, where every inch of counter space matters, and the ceiling hangs low enough to touch. Imagine cooking for 120 sailors in a space barely larger than a closet, while the submarine pitches and rolls through unseen currents. And yet, every meal arrives hot, every plate full. Down here, food isn't just nourishment, it's morale, memory, and medicine. There's a saying among the submarine force: The mess decks are the heart of the boat. And it's true. When a submariner bites into fresh-baked bread, yes, baked hundreds of feet underwater, for a moment, the steel fades away. The air feels lighter. The taste reminds them of home, of dinners with family, of sunlight they can't see but still remember. Even the simplest meal, powdered eggs, instant coffee, rehydrated potatoes, becomes sacred when shared in silence among brothers and sisters of the deep. The cooks take pride in their craft because they know the truth. A good meal can save morale. During long deployments, food becomes a calendar, a rhythm of hope. Birthdays are marked by cakes, holidays by roasts. And in the final 100 days of patrol, the crew begins a ritual known simply as the countdown. Each day, a themed meal. Italian night, Taco Tuesday, Thanksgiving at sea, serves as a small victory against the monotony. The deeper they go, the more creative the cooks become. One crew even built a steel beach picnic, spreading blankets across the deck and serving burgers under fluorescent lights, pretending for a single afternoon that the sea wasn't pressing against the walls. It's in these moments that the transformation happens. Hardship turns into harmony. The same men who curse the cramped bunks and endless drills now laugh together over burnt toast and jokes that only submariners would understand. It's here they learn that home isn't a place. It's the people you endure the darkness with. In the dark, they found each other. In silence, they built brotherhood. Every bite of food, every shared story, every laugh muffled under red lighting carries the same message. We're still here. That's what survival sounds like beneath the sea. The traditions run deep. When the submarine crosses the equator, the crew celebrates with elaborate ceremonies, transforming the steel hull into a floating carnival. When holidays arrive, Christmas, Thanksgiving, the 4th of July, they decorate with whatever they have. Paper stars, tinsel from old packaging, drawings taped to the bulkheads. They eat steak and lobster if supplies allow, not out of luxury, but as a reminder of what they're fighting for. Even under thousands of tons of seawater, they honor life. And when the mission nears its end, the most sacred ritual begins. The final countdown. The last 100 days of deployment are marked by themed meals and hand-drawn posters. Each morning, someone scratches off another number on the short timer board. It's more than anticipation, it's survival psychology. The closer the count gets to 0, the stronger the laughter becomes. One day at a time, one meal at a time. Outside these walls, people imagine submariners as silent, emotionless machines, but inside, they are anything but. They tell stories about home, about a son's birthday they missed, a wife's letter that took months to arrive, a dog they haven't seen in half a year. One sailor keeps a small jar of dirt from his backyard. Another carries a folded photo of his newborn daughter laminated to survive the humidity. Every small thing is a reminder. They may live like machines, but they endure as men. The U.S. Navy calls it double hazard pay. Submarine pay plus sea pay, compensation for isolation, danger, and unseen sacrifice. But no paycheck can measure what it costs to live without sunlight, without fresh air, without the touch of home. The reward isn't money, it's pride. It's knowing that while the world sleeps, they are awake beneath it. Unseen, unheard, but always present. In the darkness they find faith in repetition, the hum of the reactor, the rhythm of watches, the clatter of trays at mealtime. It becomes their heartbeat. They learn to draw strength from the small things, the smell of coffee, the sound of laughter, the familiar creak of the hull. In those details, they rediscover their humanity. Pain becomes purpose. Routine becomes ritual. Silence becomes sacred. Every submariner carries an unspoken understanding that they are guardians of peace through endurance, not violence. They fight not by firing weapons, but by existing where no one else can. Their mission is deterrence. Their weapon is discipline. Their shield is faith. When the final watch of deployment arrives, the atmosphere changes. The air feels lighter, the laughter sharper. The meals taste different, richer, sweeter, as though the food itself knows they are coming home. The cooks prepare the welcome home feast. Lobster tails, prime rib, soft rolls baked that morning. The crew gathers in silence before eating. Some close their eyes, some whisper thanks. After months of darkness, that meal feels like sunrise. And though no sunlight touches them yet, they can feel it. They know it's waiting. The ocean outside still groans. The steel still hums. But now the sound isn't pressure, it's peace. In the end, they realize they weren't surviving the dark. They were mastering it. What keeps you going when hope runs out? If you lived in darkness for 100 days, what would remind you of home? Beneath the calm oceans that cradle our continents, they move unseen, silent guardians of a fragile peace. While the world sleeps under open skies, they patrol the darkness below. Their only light the glow of instruments and faith. Every peaceful sunrise we take for granted exists because somewhere, deep in the abyss, a submarine crew has kept their watch. They don't make headlines. They don't march in parades. Their victories are measured not in battles won, but in crises avoided, in the quiet continuation of ordinary life above the surface. For most of us, the ocean is a symbol of freedom. For them, it's the weight of duty. Less than 1% of naval personnel ever qualify for submarine service. Even fewer choose to stay. Those who do are marked forever, not by medals, but by memory. They carry the sound of engines in their dreams, the rhythm of the 18-hour cycle in their blood, and the knowledge that their work was seen by no one, but mattered to everyone. Their service is invisible by design. The submarine force exists so that the world may never know its full power. The deeper they go, the safer we remain. Every mission completed in silence is a message unspoken. We are here, and because we are here, you are safe. Each submariner earns their dolphins, that small silver insignia, through relentless study, sleepless nights, and the trust of their brothers and sisters. It is more than metal. It's a symbol of endurance, faith, and belonging. When they pin it to their chest, it is not ceremony. It's covenant, a silent promise to protect, to endure, and to never fail their crew. They miss birthdays so we don't have to miss ours. They miss holidays so others can celebrate in peace. They disappear into the sea for months so the rest of us can live freely on land. Their sacrifice isn't measured in scars. It's measured in absence. Somewhere, tonight, a mother tucks her child into bed, unaware that, far beneath them, a crew of strangers is ensuring the world stays still long enough for dreams to exist. Somewhere, a veteran closes his eyes and remembers that low hum of the reactor, that warmth of brotherhood that never fades. Time will pass, ships will rust, names will fade from rosters, but the spirit of those who served beneath the waves endures. It flows through generations, a legacy of discipline, courage, and quiet honor. There is something almost poetic about their world, a life lived entirely out of sight, yet dedicated to protecting what is most visible, the peace above. And when their watch finally ends, when the submarine surfaces and the crew steps into daylight, there is always a moment of silence. The air feels new, the light almost blinding. Some smile, some cry. Most simply close their eyes, breathe deep, and listen to the sound of waves, the sound they've lived beneath for too long. Because for them, the ocean isn't just water. It's memory. It's sacrifice. It's home. They are not just sailors. They are sentinels of the unseen, soldiers of silence, masters of endurance. The ocean bends to their discipline, and the world rests upon their patience. And as their story drifts back into the deep, one truth remains. Courage is not always loud. Sometimes it's a heartbeat in the dark. Sacrifice is not always seen. Sometimes it's a shadow beneath the waves. Heroism is not always celebrated. Sometimes it's classified. And yet, the sea remembers. To every man and woman who has served in the silent service, thank you. For the nights you gave away, for the air you shared, for the world you kept safe unseen. This is Submarine Shadow, where light never reaches, but stories still surface. If you could send one message to those still serving beneath the waves, what would it be?